Hey guys, I hope you're having a fantastic day. The weekend starts for me, and I gotta tell you, something amazing has happened. I actually made it to Legend. Let me show you. Yes. So, uh, I got home from work yesterday, and I spent almost the entire evening, up until the wee hours of the morning, trying out my Prophecy Tempo deck. And what I found is that I was able to get to rank 1, no problem. And then when I was trying to get to Legend, there's three problems I encountered. The first problem is that when you get to rank 1, they pretty much pit you up against other Legend players, like actual Legend players, while you're rank 1. So you're playing against the best that this game has to offer. So the quality of decks are just going to be crazy. Two, there's a style of deck that's really, really popular right now, which is Control Mage, which is willpower and intelligence, and it has essentially lots of elements that allow them to outlast and out-heal whatever aggression that you can put out and clear your board. So that type of deck just shreks the Tempo Prophecy deck. Like, it's just so difficult to win that deck. And the third reason is that what I was finding is that there's just so much chance and RNG that comes into your deck. Like, there were several matches where I broke 3 runes and I never got a prophecy. So, instead of going back and trying out a different deck, what I decided to do was to take this deck idea and refine it to make it work. And I want to share it with you guys because this is a deck that you can build. It does have 1 legendary in it, but it's a deck, hopefully, that you can take and get results like this and maybe get to Legend as well. So let's talk about this deck and talk about the changes that I made in light of the competition that I faced. So I took out the Schemers. I took out the High Rock Summoners, and that's because these cards were just, honestly, they were too slow. Basically, the only way that you win with this deck, well, I mean, the beauty of it is it's very anti-tempo. What's going on here? Okay, whatever. That's a good bug to file for later. But anyway, this deck is really strong against archers and any kind of aggro deck because you've got so much life gain and so much prophecy that as they're busting you in the face, you're putting guys out in response. So it's really good against that. But what you need is the ability to go fast and go really fast and basically beat the slower decks like the willpower and endurance and any kind of slow deck. In order to beat them, you have to go super fast. And so I remodeled the deck to feature that, and I put in two ward crafters because these cards are incredibly powerful when you're ahead. They help you win further ahead because, like, let's say you got a Daring Cutpurse out on the board, or you have a Moonlight Werebat or a Cliff Racer. This is perfect. Like, the only way that they can get around this is by removing it, and that's something willpower only has. Depending on the kind of deck that you're facing, there's just going to be very, very limited options for just flat out removing it, and all those options are expensive. So even if you like ward a creature and then they javelin it or they remove it some other way, it took up their whole turn to do it. So if you're ahead on the board and they're forced to commit that many resources to removing a single threat, and you have other creatures on the board, you can still, it's still not a huge loss. And then if they don't have those resources, it's really, really hard to deal with a creature that has ward, especially when you're ahead. So this is like a winning more kind of card. And it can just help with trades, and it's an early game card. Like, you need to have an early game play or you're going to lose. Wow, look at that. That's insane. Insanity. We also took out the 2 Camelorn Sentries. Like, I looked at all the prophecy cards and I was surprised. I thought the Dunestalker would be the weak link, but this actually, it's a really powerful card. It gives you a lot of flexibility with its movement. It's a solid 2-drop just to put on turn 2, or to Magicka up and put on turn 1 to get some aggressive plays going. And it does combo well with the Dune Smuggler. So it's actually the Camelorn Sentry that is kind of the weak player in all these prophecy cards, because he's a 2/4. He doesn't put out that much threat. He's good at protecting cards when you already have them out. But as a turn 3, he's honestly kind of weak. He was the weakest guy. So I took him out and I replaced the 2 that I removed from here with some Feasting Vultures. Now, Feasting Vultures, it's a 3-mana card, and if any creatures died on your turn when you play it, whether it's your creature, an enemy creature, whatever, it comes out as a 5/4. This is a super, super strong tempo play. And if you're ever forced to make trades, this is a good way to recover that card and get some really strong threats out on the board. So this guy has done work for me. I highly recommend him. I put in another House Kinsman. I actually removed one of the Soul Rest Marshals because the problem is that they're like a facilitator card. I've got Royal Sages in here now. I've got Cliff Racers. I've still got the Fate Weavers. I've got the Feasting Vultures. They're really good at making those cards better by just giving you more tempo, but on their own, it can be difficult. Like, when you're behind, this card is essentially a 5-mana 4/4, which is awful. And even when you're ahead, if you don't have like these combo cards to play with, then you're just doing something like Soul Rest Marshal, Black Sap Protector, or Soul Rest Marshal, Shrieking Harpy, which isn't that strong of a turn. It's really not. So I reduced it to 2 because really what you're looking to do is play this with a Leaf Lurker, a Cliff Racer, a Royal Sage, or some kind of removal, maybe a Werebat, or Fate Weaver, or, you know, like it makes your clumsier plays better. Now, on the other hand, I put in 3 Royal Sages because I thought this card was kind of weak, to be honest. But when you're ahead, this card, like, you'll notice the common theme here. When you're ahead, this card will keep you winning because it does something when you play it. And that's what you need with this deck to succeed. You need initiative. And, you know, depending on the keyword that you get, if you, like we talked about ward's a possibility. You can get charge on something, which is always great. Lethal helps you trade if they try to put guards in your way. Drain can help keep you alive on the board. This is just, it's gotten a lot of RNG to it, but you have to kind of embrace RNG with this deck. And you want to put yourself in a position where you're ahead, you've got minions on the board, and then you give them all keywords, and then you keep pressing forward. Like, this card has single-handedly won me, well, not single-handedly, but it's been like the deciding factor because of a ward or a lethal or a charge that it gave in multiple matches since I put it in. So it's a very, very solid card. And very, very much the whole point is to get to the structure your early game so you have more life so you can play one of these bad boys. And they do combo really well with the Soul Rest Marshal or after a Fate Weaver. So, and then the one legendary I put in is the Supreme Atromancer. This guy is like the final punch. If you're ever finding yourself in the late game and you're running out of cards, this guy can give you what you need to secure the victory and get that killing blow. So what it does is when you put him out, he's a 3/3 on his own for 9 mana, which seems awful, but he summons 2 Flame Atronachs, which are the 5/4s with breakthrough on either side of the lane. And then on top of that, its effect is whenever you summon a creature, including the 2 Flame Atronach, whatever, it deals 2 damage. So you play this guy, you put 1 3/3, 2 5/5s on both sides of the board, and deal 4 damage to your opponent. So this is a super powerful card. It really complements what we're going for with our deck, and it can be the deciding factor in getting that finishing blow, because it never hurts to have more reach. And so I talked about this before in the other video, but the way how you want to play this is you want to basically kind of trick your opponent into racing, because as they're smashing you on one side of the lane, you're taking over that other side of the lane. As they're hitting you and breaking your runes, you're drawing more cards you can either put down to contest their side or to keep speeding up your side. And because of all the life gain that you've got in Werebats, in the now 3 House Kinsmans, and the three Ransacks, so that's like 9 life gain total, you'll usually come out on top. And you have enough reach in your deck in the form of the Cliff Racers, the Ransacks, the Lightning Bolts, and now the Supreme Atromancer, that you do have the ability to just go face and then hopefully pull out a miracle. And that's, you know, the beauty of this deck, and it can do things that no other deck can do because of the power of its prophecy cards. Like, you can essentially be completely dead on the board, and if you've gotten your opponent down to 8 life, you can draw like 2 lightning bolts and just finish them from the prophecies that you draw. It's a really, really powerful deck. And like I said, I got legendary off this deck. And I'll be honest, this is complete honesty, I have not put in a single dollar into this game. So this has been a completely free-to-play one. I've been playing since last month, so it has required some time. But honestly, these cards, so this legendary is something that you get. You've got, at this point, the majority of these cards are purples. They're blues. So this would not be that hard of a deck to craft. And you do have a lot of these cards just sitting in your hand from the beginning decks that you've got. So, you know, there are a couple of epics in here. There's the House Kinsman, the Leaf Lurker, and the Moonlight Werebat. And oh, is that it? I believe, other than the Supreme Atromancer. Oh, and the the Ransacks are common. Yeah, so it's just those 3 cards, and then the Supreme Atromancer, which you get anyway, and then almost everything else is the blues, which cost 100, and then a couple of the commons, which cost 50. So this is a very low cost, high performance deck. I highly encourage you to try it out if you have not. I think this version is stronger than the version that I posted before, so I'm going to put a link to that. And I just wanted to make a video bragging that I got to Legend. Yeah, so let me show that off one more time. And to show off this weird corruption that's going on. Okay, it's taken care of. Yeah. So, with that in mind, now that frees me up for this season, just in the nick of time to hit Legend. And I can start focusing more on doing arena matches and putting out more arena videos. So, this has been TwinkleButt. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you found this deck helpful, if you found it insightful, if it helped you get to Legend, get to a high rank, consider a like, consider leaving a comment. I love hearing feedback. Or if you want to see more videos like this, please consider a subscription. But most important, please have a fantastic day. I will see you later.